Alright, so I'm walking currently, so my audio might be a bit shit, so unlucky. But I think this is just a complete impromptu. Oh, does that actually stop it? It doesn't. Okay. So, what I'm doing, I don't give a fuck about that. What is going on? Yeah, I'm just going to explain my story, my ailments that I've had, my problems, the hardships, because that shit all adds up, doesn't it? And, you know, you've got to go through hardships to realise how good of a position you're now currently in. Yeah. So I was 16 when I first started working out. You know, I turned 16, I was like, oh nice, I can go to fucking gym then, let's go buddy. Yeah, I went, smashed it. I'm like quite naturally, like, genetically strong, so, or built, in a sense. So it kind of like, I packed on muscle quickly, it was all going well. Then, so that was in like May, was when I started, and then like, it must have been around January I met a girl, yeah, which I hadn't really done too much of before. Before that I was quite timid, maybe timid is the wrong word, but I just wasn't as confident as I am as a man today, or even like slightly back then, but yeah, it was going fine, had a nice relationship, learn about myself, my pleasures, you know what I'm saying, and yeah, it was fun. About 6 months in I got bored there. I kind of, it was like a slightly long distance, so I'm in a little town called Cheltenham, and she was in a little town called Evesham, which means absolutely nothing to most people, but well, it's very windy. So basically what that is probably like 20 miles. When you're a 16-year-old that can't drive, you've got to be like, oh mum, can you take me to thingy this weekend? Or she has to say it to her parents. Oh god. Yeah, sorry about the wind, but you just want to yeah, give it a go. But yeah, I learned about myself, and I ended up breaking up with her just because I was bored. It just sounds quite horrible, to be honest. Yeah, I then started working out properly again, because I took a little bit of time off. Just, you know how it is. You're in a different place every weekend. You're at school, you're at college. I can't be bothered, but I was consistent with it as a kid, like, as a 16-year-old. And then I started smashing it again, doing really well. And at 17, I noticed a problem, but not a problem. I noticed something that kind of put me off, like maybe a bit depressed. I started going bald, which quite a lot of you probably know that about me now. That I am a 23-year-old bald man, which yeah, when it first happened, oh god, that's windy as fuck. When it happens, it's fucking depressing, man. Like, imagine being 17 and your hair starts going backwards, and you don't really, no one tells you how to deal with these things. And one of the lessons I took from that is that you've got to kind of use these problems in your life to grow as a person and as a man. I definitely did that. It took me a few years to fully embrace going bald and the struggles that come along with that, but I did, eventually, fully embrace it, which was fucking hard, because it's quite depressing. It's like you think, oh no, my looks, they're gone, like I was quite, like I also had quite long hair growing up as well, so I was like, oh no, my life's over. But it wasn't, you know what I mean? Like, I'm happy now. Which is a funny thing to say, but yeah, like, what happened to me is, when I was 17, I got a rash on my ass. Like, well, it wasn't even a rash, that's part of the story. So I got a rash. I was like, oh, what the fuck, there's blood. I told my mum, who was a nurse, and she was like, oh shit, she was on holiday at the time doing skiing. And I was like, what the fuck do I do? And I actually ended up going to the doctors about it, of course. Just because you probably should go to the doctors when you've got that problem. And what happened to me was, I got misdiagnosed with something called thrush, which is like a yeast infection essentially. So she was like, yeah, you've got a yeast infection, rub this on your ass, hopefully it'll go away. So that was January 11th, 2015, I'm going to say, 2016, one of the two. So after that, 3 months later, it was March 27th, I think, I went back into the doctors a few times. I was like, this isn't going away. It's do you know what? I had this thing called a perianal abscess. It's fucking painful. So it's like an open wound that was constantly draining itself. So I stank of just pus and all this bollocks. It was just disgusting. And again, when you start going bald and all of this, it all adds up. You know what I mean? But yeah, you've got to embrace these things. One thing that did happen though, so I was rushed to hospital in March 27th, I was rushed to hospital. I got there, I spent 12 hours to just be told, oh yeah, you're not actually getting your operation today, mate, sorry, you've got to have an echo scan because I've got a heart problem. So I then went, did some fucking bullshit, had my heart checked, and they were like, yeah, your heart's fine actually, nice. I was like, yep, no it was. And then went and had my first operation 2 days later. So the next day, I literally spent the whole day in the hospital, no food, no water, which was actually quite dangerous. I could have died when I had my operation because my livers and kidneys would have been completely fucked from like 3 days worth of no food and water, or like 3 days of consistent no food and water. But yeah, I got quite lucky in the end, you know. Like, I could have actually sued the NHS for it, but I didn't, because that would be bad form, pretty poor form. Yeah. But it is what it is. Where was I? Asshole fucking yeah. So after 3 days having an operation, and then I had to do this thing called getting it packed, because it left, they couldn't stitch it up because the wound was so small and it's right next to my asshole, which is quite graphic, sorry about that. But yeah, turns out all of those fucking doctors were wrong as well. So I had one doctor come around like at 9 o'clock at night, be like, oh yeah, by the way mate, everyone's been diagnosing you wrong again. It's actually 2 abscesses, which was creating a thing called a sinus. So I didn't actually have a perianal abscess. I had something called a pilonidal sinus. Yeah, which means that 2 abscesses are basically filling up each other, draining, filling the other one up again. And long story short, I had a very fucking painful and depressing. So I'm just going to sit down at a bench. Had a long, painful, depressing, like 3 years. So between the age of 18, basically 17 and a half, so we'll say 18. Between the age of 18 and 21, well, the end of uni. So I went through 2 years of college and a year of uni. So 3 years of my fundamental like forming years of having like this fucking open wound on my body, and it hurt. Just fucking hurt. But I now deal with pain very well. I've grown as a person because of it. But I was not on my self-improvement journey at that point, just because I was too scared to go to the gym consistently because of the pain. I was there like, oh no, if I squat it's going to make it worse, man. I got into all these excuses, and I did some silly things at university for my 1 year. I'm a dropout. I dropped out of college, dropped out of A levels, and then I dropped out of uni. Two of those were kind of because I had this open wound. The other one was because I'm lazy. This open wound was really painful. It made going to the toilet painful. It made walking painful, and it just it was depressing, and I did get depressed. I'm not really a big depression sufferer, which is one of those things. Like, we don't really, as men, we don't speak about these things enough. We don't talk about our mental health, well, like in the right way. Like, so what I now do is like I journal at night. So just before I start my night, it's part of my nighttime routine. I'll open up my Google Word document thing, add in today's entry, and then I'll just go to town with like, what feelings have I had today? What caused these feelings? Like, if it's a good feeling, like if I felt really good, really happy, confident, I'll be like, oh, how can I make myself feel that way again? But like the confidence one, I don't really talk about or add much about it, because I just am confident as a person. Obviously I have my insecurities, but we all do. Like, you're never not going to have insecurities, and you're a fucking idiot if you say you don't have insecurities. But it's learning to adapt around these insecurities that make us a better person and a bigger person. That's how I feel. When I was after my operation, I actually my final operation, which was a big one, left me bedbound for a while, like a month. So the entirety of August of 2018, I was bedbound for the entirety of August, just because I had this fucking big operation. Had to have all these stitches removed again. Really fucking painful. I was taking I was taking codeine when it was the time to take the stitches out, and this fucking bitch missed a few of them and just nicked my skin, and I fucking killed. It's a very sensitive area. When during this time with my whole problem, I actually was still quite a confident dude. Like, I felt like shit, like, but I was still talking to girls. I was still improving myself in a sense. I was still kind of like, outwardly I was happy. I appeared as not sad and depressed, because that's how I guess I coped with it. It was like, I can't let people know how I'm feeling weak, which is again another problem that I have, is that like I struggle to allow myself to be vulnerable, because I'm quite like a headstrong, manly man. No, that's me. Like, that's just how it is. I'm quite an aggressive man. But these are things we learn from. I probably still will be quite emotionally unavailable, but it's a work in progress. I'm 23. I'm not 50. I don't need to be in complete control of myself at all moments, but I am trying to be more present. Like right now, I'm looking around. I'm in a nature reserve. It's fucking beautiful. I'm probably going to take some, like, I'll take a little video and put it in of my view right now. There's like a little stream. I'm just sat on this chill little bench. There's some cows in the distance, and it's I think I take a lot of life for granted. I think we all do. Back to the story. Yeah, and then in the next year, so February 5th is then when I started talking to this girl. Yeah, long story short, we got into a long-term relationship. That went on for 2.5 years. It was I enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun. So on the 13th of September, she broke up with me over text. So that hurt. It was quite a big like fucking ego hit for me. Oh, I've got a ton of fucking flies over me. Yeah, it's quite a big ego hit. Like when that, well, not ego hit. It just made me sad. It made me feel emotions I've never felt before, like lots of complex emotions. And so yesterday, I don't know what day it is. It's Sunday. Syntax error on the Discord, the Hamza cult Discord. He did a biggest biggest regrets thread. Or not thread, lecture, and it had a bunch of people talking about their regrets, and every single regret that I heard, I don't see as a regret. I see as a learning, something you can learn from. Like you had a 14-year-old say, "Oh, I wish I learned about self-improvement earlier." Shut up, you fucking idiot! Like you're a dick. Like you're 14. Like shut up. And like I was thinking about it. Is my biggest regret not allowing myself to be more emotionally vulnerable, or being more open to these different things? But it's not, because those things. So like I said I love you to this girl 5 times in our entire relationship in 2.5 years. Like that's not very good, is it really? Like, and I do still, but like rationally I know that thing is gone. That relationship never ever going to be a thing again. I know that there are better looking girls out there. I know there are nicer girls out there, and I know there are girls that I'm gonna enjoy a lot more. But it still hurts, like, because she was a big part of my life from the age of 21 until 23. Well, 20 actually. So from 20 to 23, she's been kind of there with me the whole time. Not anymore. But, again, we kind of learn from these things. You can't just go through life with it all being easy. I realise this video thing is already 17 minutes, so I'm going to probably edit a lot of it out. But, yeah, I'll probably save the full story of my growth from that breakup already, because it's an ongoing process. Like, yeah, I think even within a month, I've matured quite a lot as a person, as an individual. Like, I'm much more aware of myself and my emotions, which is why I'm not I don't regret things. Am I saddened by them? Absolutely. Like, and if you can't admit that, you're a fucking idiot. Like you've got to admit to yourself and others that you do feel these things, because otherwise, how can you stop yourself from feeling them in the future? Like, yeah. I'm just looking at the stream right now. It looks fucking awesome. Yeah, no, it's like you've got to just take life by the horns and enjoy yourself. I'm gonna call it there. Yeah, this is like part 1 of the Chris story, the Kratos story. I'm a man on a journey to becoming a god. Because I am going to be. That's one thing. That's how I end it. I do feel that I myself am a god, in a sense. Because that makes no sense to a lot of people. It's like, whoa, you've got a massive ego. And I read that in the fucking stupid cult general chat a lot. Is that you should kill your ego and you don't want an ego. I kind of run on ego. Like, my ego forces me to become a better person, a stronger person, because I don't like being worse than others. Like, I was playing fucking ping pong at work, and I was like, no, I'm doing shit, I'm losing, and I lost, and it pissed me off. So I got better at ping pong, and I've now not been beaten in like however many goes at ping pong because of my ego. Yeah, that's it. Thank you very much. I'll continue the video about that weird relationship thing, and there'll be many more to come. Hopefully, it won't all be Apple headphone quality. Yeah, but I wanted to do it outside just because it's beautiful. It's a nice day. Yeah, I just don't want to waste what we've got, because one day I won't live here. I'll live in a city which has no greenery, no lakes, no rivers going through it, no beautiful streams with some little fish. And that's what life's about, is enjoying the little things. But yeah, thank you very much. Any fucking feedback? Like, oh Chris, you said and like far too much. Stop it, bro. You can do so much better. I'll appreciate it. It looks like I've got this audio really low quality, so hopefully that's not too big of a problem. If it is, I'll definitely try and up it next time. So thank you very much. I'll see you later.